Hey YouTube, it's me again. Oh man, it's beautiful here in Utah right now. I'm really looking forward to getting out and riding, but first I wanted to talk about something that was I found out was pretty interesting. Um, if you have GERD or acid reflux, sometimes the reason can be that your stomach acid is actually too low. Um, And if you were to go to the doctor, they would not really bother testing the pH of your stomach acid to find this out. They would immediately put you on proton pump inhibitors and tell you to chew antacid tablets, the calcium and magnesium stuff. Um, so in the past, before I started my low carb diet, I would have the kind of like these perpetual hiccups where it would just constantly just go and go and go for weeks, months if I let it, and it would be accompanied with kind of a burning sensation in the throat, and it didn't really fit the definition of acid reflux or GERD, but it was cured by taking antacids and proton pump inhibitors like Prilosec and Nexium. So it was kind of weird. One of the doctors I had figured it out because I was suffering for months, and within a couple days of taking proton pump inhibitors, the issue would go away and I'd be fine for another year. And eventually something would trigger me, and then I'd get the perpetual hiccups again. I'll have to take it again. I'll have to take the proton pump inhibitors again. But this time now, I've been on this low carb diet for 2.5 years, and I've not had an episode of that since. So I really didn't have any need for any of these medications. But a couple months ago, I had just this really bad episode where it was like the worst it's ever been. It was like my digestion was really slow. I was hiccuping constantly. I was burping constantly. My my stomach had bloated out. My throat was just burning. Every time I hiccup, it would just hurt so bad. Um, and I was a mess. I just felt like I was falling apart. And normally I would go to the doctor, but I figured, okay, this is just the same issue, just maybe worse than it was before. I'll take you know, the usual combination of things. And I started taking it in a couple days. It's just like, this is weird. It's not working at all. I'm not getting any better. In fact, my digestion's getting slower. Um, and I was looking up online like what this was, and they're classifying it as GERD and acid reflux, and or theoretically like an ulcer or some kind of hernia, around the diaphragm. I was like, oh shit, like this is gonna get really expensive. But in that research, I also found that there's a condition where you don't have enough stomach acid, and you can actually get GERD symptoms and acid reflux symptoms from not having enough stomach acid. Like if the pH of your stomach acid isn't right, your upper and lower esophagus will not close properly, and you'll get the same symptoms. And oftentimes, doctors will not go through the effort of testing your stomach acid's pH to see if this is the case, and they'll just put you on these drugs, and say have a nice day until things get worse for you. So that's where I was at, and one thing that really told me that it was low stomach acid, not that I sat here with like a test strip, and a chemical laboratory looking at my puke or something, something gross, is that um, I had the issue where I was bloated, I wasn't digesting things, and if I bent over a little bit, I would barf. But the thing is that when I would barf, I would find food that hadn't been digested in like 12 hours, and it looked like the same way it came in, and I was like, okay, like if I had a lot of stomach acid and it was really strong, and this is acid reflux, that stuff would have been chewed away. It would have been chewed up. It wouldn't look like when it came in. So I was thinking like the whole, low stomach acid thing was what was going on with me. So I started researching into what you can do to increase your stomach acid. I stopped taking the proton pump inhibitors, which they essentially stop the release of stomach acid. I figured I'd go the other way. And what I found is, you've probably heard of this before. a lot of hippies and alternative health type people will tell you that it's good for, curing cancer or losing weight or, God knows whatever like stupid health claim they have. That's not really founded, but there is actually something to this stuff. Um, Back in biblical times, thousands of years ago, even in some cultures today, um, it was pretty customary to drink some vinegar or include some vinegar in a meal to help digestion, or drink like a red wine that had a certain pH that was kind of similar to this, um, to help your digestion. And Bragg, on their website, they state that the pH of their vinegar is standardized to about 3. And through my research, I found that the pH where your stomach acid is effective at, breaking down food and whatnot, it's about 1 to 3 pH. So I figured, okay, this is essentially replacement stomach acid to me. It's not, the cure for cancer, but I'll give it a try. And within minutes, I had like a cessation of pretty much all the symptoms within minutes of taking that, and I was stunned. Here I was with this traditional medicine, and this $5 bottle of vinegar did it for me. So yeah, I started out taking it twice a day, right around the time that I was eating meals, because I figured, that's when I need to digest or start digesting. And I had a basically remission of this GERD episode I was having within a couple days, to the point where I only really needed to take this maybe once a day instead of twice a day. And it seems like my stomach has changed. It's the acidity or whatever the environment of my stomach has been restored back to normal, to the point where after a couple of weeks of drinking this stuff, I don't really need it anymore. So yeah, I would definitely give it a try if you're having GERD. Your issue might be that your stomach acid is too low. If your stomach acid is too high, this might actually, since it's a pH of 3, which is the kind of upper end of what your stomach environment should be, it will kind of help water down whatever the acid is in your stomach. And the cool thing is that this will actually hang out in your stomach for quite a while. If I drink a significant amount of this, I can kind of like taste it on my breath if I like burp or anything for hours. So really, you just keep this around, and give it a try. I'm definitely interested in if any of you try this when you have kind of like a high stomach acid type environment, if it works the same as it did for me with a low stomach acid issue. I'm really curious if you're going to get the same results as me. So I'd love to hear your comments. I looked on Amazon on the reviews for apple cider vinegar, and it seems like the majority of the people that are taking it and are really big fans of the stuff are taking it for GERD or acid reflux. So potentially it probably works for both types of issues. One thing that's important about to know about these types of drugs, like your Prilosec, this is just a cheap generic, is that you're really only supposed to take them for very short periods of time. And some people can actually get on them for life. And there's a huge problem with that. If your stomach acid is not really doing its job, you can't digest certain nutrients, and you will become deficient in a couple of them. I think iron and magnesium might be some. You might want to just look up what the long-term effects are. But I know a couple people who have been on these types of drugs for a long time, and I don't see them as being very healthy. One of these individuals seems to have some kind of deficiency of some kind of vitamin or whatnot. They're very pale, even though they eat meat. They seem to eat pretty well, but something's off. And then another one, they're having heart issues. I mean, I can't really link it to, but I've seen what happens when you run out of certain minerals, especially ones that are necessary for your heart to continue beating, like the electrolytes, like I talked about in one of my previous videos. If you're on these drugs for a very long period of time, I don't think it's really helping you. I think it's kind of a band-aid, and if your stomach is not doing its job, you're not going to be healthy. It's kind of like if the fuel tank in your car was full of some kind of junk, or you were putting in bad gas into it. It's like, how long would your car run? If the gasoline you were putting in was 10% water, or your engine couldn't process the fuel properly and blow it up. Eventually you'd end up with deposits on your engine. And it's kind of, I don't know, I kind of think of the body as this way. Like, we gotta put good fuel in our system, and tune ourselves up and make sure we're running right. It's you kind of, this is kind of like putting one of those fuel additives into your 30-year-old car that isn't passing smog and hoping that it will. It's not helping you function properly. This, on the other hand, is more towards, the more of this you drink, the better. Ultimately, like, you can't harm yourself. There are people that have drinking this for the entire lives, and even the founder of modern medicine, Hippocrates, was a big fan of vinegar. He said it was good for everything. I mean, I don't know how true that was. That was the the Greek or Roman days or something, thousands of years ago. But yeah, it generally seems to be good. I would give it a try and let me know how it goes. One last thing. The only thing to know about this is that this is, it's pretty acidic. I mean, it does what it says on the tin. This can potentially strip the enamel off your teeth. So if you're going to be drinking it, what I would do is use a straw and then kind of put it past your teeth, and then suck that way. If you're going to be using it long term, you don't want to have your teeth rot out, and then end up with a side effect. That's no good. So, and if you look on reviews on Amazon, or look at some holistic health manual, they'll probably tell you the same thing. You don't want to just be drinking it straight and having it touch your teeth. Your esophagus and the rest of the environment below the teeth has no problem with this, but yeah, your teeth are not used to it. On the upside, if you have nasty breath, this will actually this will work on it. I mean, it'll act as a mouthwash. Like, whenever I would drink it, it's like, oh wow, it's like I just brushed my teeth really well. So I noticed that it was like, this is pretty strong on my teeth. I really need to start using a straw with this. So yeah, I hope to see your comments, and thanks for watching. Bye.